You're seated in a cafe in Karachi. You've been in the city for 6 weeks. 3 tables over, a man sits with a $25 million bounty attached to his name. He has no idea you're there. No one does. You ask for tea. You skim the newspaper. You blend in like every other businessman in the district. Plain, forgettable, grey. Your phone vibrates. One word, green light. You give nothing away. You don't scan the room. You simply fold the paper. You take one final sip of tea. You glance at your watch like you're running late for a meeting. In 90 seconds, a drone strike will reduce this cafe to a crater. The man with the bounty will be erased. The waiter will be erased. The old man by the window playing chess will be erased too. You have 60 seconds to leave without drawing a single eye. You rise. You place cash on the table. You walk. Not too quick, not too slow, just a man returning to work. By the time you're 2 blocks away, the blast rattles the windows. Car alarms erupt. People sprint toward the smoke. You keep moving. Tomorrow the news will call it a gas leak. The intelligence services will know better, but they won't know about you. You do not exist. You never did. You don't submit an application for this life. There is no application. There is no listing. No recruiter waiting at a career fair. They come to you. By then you're already the elite of the elite. Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, CIA paramilitary. You have done things that will never be declassified. You have been in countries where, officially, no American ever set foot. You are the top 1% of the top 1%. And you think you've already seen it all. You haven't. A man walks up to you. No uniform. No insignia. No name tag. He looks like an accountant. Soft hands. Slight dad bod. The kind of person you would forget within 5 seconds of meeting him. That is exactly the point. He asks one question. How's your Arabic? You answer that it's solid. You picked it up in Syria, in Yemen, in the places that never make the evening news. He nods once. Then he slides a folder across the table. Inside is one sheet of paper. No letterhead. No classification stamp. Just words. The offer is simple. There's a unit. No name. No patch. No official record. The military will never admit it exists. The CIA acts like it has never heard of it. Congress assumes it belongs in somebody else's budget line. If you join, you become a ghost. Here is what that really means. Your military file will show that you retired, or maybe transferred to some training command in Kansas. Something dull. Something no one would ever ask about twice. Your family will believe you took a desk job. You will miss birthdays. You will miss funerals. You will call when you can, and that will not be often. If you die in the field, there will be no body shipped home. No folded flag. No 21-gun salute. Only a star cut into a wall inside a building you will never see. No name beneath it. Just a star. The man asks only one thing. Are you in? You think of your wife. Your kids. The life you thought you were going to have. Then you say yes. You have no idea what you just agreed to. The man stands up. He shakes your hand. He walks away. You never see him again. 3 days later, you receive coordinates. A location somewhere in the American South. You are not entirely sure which state you're in. That is by design. The life you knew ends here. You've gone through selection before. Delta made you run until you threw up. SEAL training tried to drown you for half a year. You believed you understood hardship. This is something else entirely. They do not care whether you can hump 20 miles with a rucksack. You already proved that. They do not care whether you can shoot. You proved that too. What they want to know is whether you can vanish. Day 1 surveillance training. They hand you a photograph of a man. Average face, brown hair, medium build. Your instructions are simple. Follow him through a city for 8 hours. Don't let him spot you. Don't let anyone spot you following him. Easy, right? You've done this in war zones. You tracked insurgents through Baghdad. You fail after 2 hours. You never noticed the woman with the stroller. She was counter-surveillance. She clocked you 3 separate times. First when you crossed the street too quickly. Then when you checked your phone at the wrong moment. Then when you made eye contact with the shop owner, who was also on the team. The instructor doesn't raise his voice. He simply lays out the photographs. Pictures of you taken by people you never even saw. Start over. You try again. You fail again. The target slipped into a restaurant, and you hesitated at the entrance. Amateur mistake. A real professional would have kept walking. circled the block and waited. Start over. Day 3. You fail because you wore the same jacket 2 days in a row. Someone noticed. Day 5. You fail because the way you walk is too confident. You look like a soldier. Soldiers are memorable. Day 7. You finally finish the drill. 8 hours. 0 detection. You feel a surge of pride. The instructor does not congratulate you. He nods once, hands you another photo, another target, another city. Harder this time. The target knows he's being followed. He's trying to flush you out. You do this for 6 weeks. You learn how to alter your gait, your posture, the way your shoulders sit. You learn that a baseball cap makes you stand out, while a grey jacket makes you disappear. You learn that people remember faces and forget bodies. The language training is merciless. You are not just learning Arabic. You already speak Arabic. Now you are learning the Yemeni dialect, the slang from Saudi Arabia, the hand gestures from Aden, the subtle way men from different tribes sit differently in chairs. You learn how to argue about football like a local. You learn which expressions instantly label you an outsider. You learn how to curse like someone raised on the streets of Saudi Arabia. They make you watch television from the target country, soap operas, news broadcasts, game shows. You have to catch the references, the jokes, the cultural landmarks. You have to know who the celebrities are, who the politicians are, who won the football championship in 1987. You spend 3 full hours learning the right way to drink tea. Not the flavor, the posture, the gestures, the way you hold the glass, the way you blow across the top, the way you place it back down. Every culture does it differently. Get it wrong and you're instantly flagged as a foreigner. Then they dump you into a hostile environment, a foreign city. No money, no ID, no support, no weapons, no extraction plan. Your task: stay alive for 1 week, complete 3 objectives, and don't die. Day 1. Hunger hits. You sleep under a bridge beside homeless men. You listen to them talk. You absorb the local slang. Day 2. You steal food from a market. You feel bad for about 5 seconds. Then you remember this is training. Day 3. You befriend a local businessman. You tell him you're a traveler who got robbed. He pities you, buys you dinner, and introduces you to his circle. Day 4. You finish your first objective, photograph a particular building from a particular angle without being seen. Day 6. All 3 objectives are done. You're extracted. You think that means you passed. Barely. The washout rate is 90%. Not because the candidates are weak. These are the most elite soldiers on Earth. Delta operators, SEAL snipers, Green Beret team leaders. They fail because they cannot become invisible. The guy who brags about his kills. Gone. The guy who has to be the alpha in every room. Gone. The guy who can't live without recognition. Gone. The guy who looks unmistakably military. Gone. People remember handsome. The guy who's too tall. Gone. You cannot hide 6'4". They keep the grey men. The forgettable ones. The faces no one can describe 5 minutes later. The people who can sit in a room for an hour and leave no impression at all. Average height, average build, average face. Extraordinary capabilities hidden behind deliberate mediocrity. You graduate. There is no ceremony, no certificate, no photo with the commandant, no handshake from a general, just a tap on the shoulder, an address, a plane ticket, a new name. Welcome to the activity. The label keeps changing. Grey Fox, Centra Spike, Task Force Orange, the Army of Northern Virginia, the Intelligence Support Activity. By the time anyone figures out one name, it has already been replaced. That is the whole idea. Even admitting the unit exists is classified. The organization is tiny, maybe 200 people in total. Compared to the 70,000 across the rest of Special Operations, you could fit the entire thing into a hotel ballroom. 2 branches. Human to human intelligence. That's your world. You go places. You become people. You build relationships with sources who often do not realize they are sources. You pull information through conversation, not interrogation. SIGINT, Signals Intelligence. The tech magicians. They can track a phone across a continent. They can crack encrypted communications. They can find people who do not want to be found. This is how the machine works. SEAL Team 6 kicks indoors. Delta Force raids compounds. The Rangers seize airfields. They are the hammer. You are the one who finds the nail. Without you, the shooters are blind. They are sitting in helicopters with nowhere to go. You identify the targets. You chart the networks. You locate the safe houses. Then you hand over the coordinates and vanish. The operators get medals. The operators get movie deals. You get a classified file nobody will ever read. This is your new life. No base. You work out of embassies, safe houses, hotels, apartments rented under false names. You never step into the same office twice. No uniform, ever. You dress like the place you are in. In Germany, you look like a German businessman. In Pakistan, you dress like a Pakistani merchant. In Texas, you look like a guy who sells insurance. No rank in the field. The person beside you could be a master sergeant, a CIA case officer, an NSA analyst. You won't know. You won't ask. You have a cover identity. Actually, you have several. Documents, passports, credit cards, an entire life built for a person who is not real. Now that person is you. At least until the mission ends. Your first real operation. A city in North Africa. You will never say which one. Not ever. The target is a financier. Hassan. Not his real name. He moves money for terrorist organizations across 3 continents. He has never touched a weapon, never built a bomb, never pulled a trigger. But the money he moves has killed hundreds of Americans. Soldiers in Iraq, civilians at embassies, passengers on airplanes. On paper, he is a businessman. Import-export, real estate, consulting. He files taxes, pays salaries, attends charity dinners. He also transfers $5 million a month to men who build suicide vests. The politicians want him alive. They want his network traced. They want the whole web, not just one spider. Dead men do not reveal their contacts. Your job, get close. Map his world. Find the weak points. Don't get caught. You arrive as a German businessman, Klaus Richter. Import-export, industrial machinery parts, boring merchandise. Your cover is airtight. Business cards, a website, a secretary in Munich who picks up the phone and takes messages. She has no idea who you really are. She thinks you work for a consulting firm. In a way she is right, just not in the way she thinks. You rent an apartment in a middle-class neighborhood. Nothing flashy. You buy groceries, you go to the gym, you build a routine. For 2 months you do nothing interesting. You eat alone in restaurants, you attend business conferences, and hand out cards. You meet local businessmen to discuss contracts that will never exist. You are aggressively unremarkable. Then you begin to appear. At the gym the target visits 3 times a week. You join. You use the treadmill. You lift. You never glance his way. At the mosque where he prays on Fridays. You attend. You pray in the back. You leave before him. At the cafe where he drinks tea every Thursday afternoon. You become a regular. Same corner. Same paper. Same order. Every single time. You never approach him. You never speak to him. You never even meet his eyes. You simply exist near him. A ghost at the edge of his awareness. By week 3 you know his schedule better than his wife does. You know he leaves for work at 7:45. You know his driver is named Farid. You know he meets a woman on Tuesdays who is not his wife. You know that every Monday he has lunch with a man in an expensive suit at the same restaurant. You are mapping the ecosystem. Routines, contacts, security, weaknesses. Every detail goes into encrypted reports, uploaded through a network that bounces through 6 countries before it reaches Fort Meade. The color of his car, the plate number, the driver's face, the restaurant name, the woman's face. Week 6. Something feels wrong. A car appears too often. A man sits too straight. A pattern doesn't belong. The target has counter-surveillance. He has people looking for people like you. He is cautious. He is paranoid. He stayed alive this long for a reason. So you adjust. You become even less visible. You skip the gym on the days he is there. You change cafes. You widen the distance. You report the counter-surveillance team. Within 48 hours, Sigint cracks his phone. They are reading his texts, hearing his calls, watching his money move in real time. Every wire transfer, every email, every contact. Then the break comes. He is planning a meeting with a courier, someone arriving from overseas carrying documents, names, account numbers, a roadmap of terrorist financing across 3 continents. This is the jackpot. Your assignment is to tail the courier. He lands on a Tuesday, short, nervous, clutching a leather briefcase like his life depends on it. Because it does. You shadow him through the city. He changes taxis 3 times. Doubles back twice. Basic counter-surveillance. You've seen much better. He checks into a hotel. Room 412. You report it. That night, a team you will never meet enters his room. The courier is drugged. He will remember nothing. The documents are photographed, page by page, number by number, then placed back exactly the way they were. He wakes the next morning with a headache and blames jet lag. He delivers the briefcase to Hassan. He never realizes the contents were copied. A week later, $40 million in terrorist funds are frozen across 6 countries. 12 arrests follow. 3 attacks are stopped before they ever happen. A shopping mall in Paris. A subway in London. A hotel in Bangkok. Your name appears nowhere. You were never there. Klaus Richter leaves the country for a business trip and never returns. The apartment is scrubbed. The lease is terminated. It is as if he never existed, because he didn't. You receive new papers, a new identity, a flight to your next city, a new name, a new accent, a new life, and the cycle starts again. Then comes the mission that defines you. A bomb maker, codenamed the Engineer. He is responsible for 200 American deaths, maybe more. IEDs in Iraq that ripped convoys apart. Car bombs in Kabul. Attacks in Europe that dominated headlines for weeks. He is a ghost. No photos less than 10 years old. The only known image shows a young bearded man. He could look like anyone now. He never uses phones. Never emails. Never sleeps in the same place longer than a week. He moves constantly. Changes vehicles. Changes routes. Even his own organization does not know where he stays. He is the most wanted man on earth that nobody has ever heard of. The president wants him dead. The entire intelligence community wants him dead. The CIA has a dedicated task force. The NSA has surveillance programs. Billions in satellites, drones, analysts and collection efforts have failed to locate him for 3 years. Nothing. Then they send you. You cannot find him directly. He is too careful, too paranoid, too smart. So you find everyone around him. His courier, the man who carries messages. You follow him through Turkey. His doctor, the one treating his diabetes. You locate him in Jordan, his brother, the one handling his finances. You trace him through Pakistan, his wife's relatives, the people who may know which wife he is staying with. You chart the network across 3 countries. His financier, his weapons supplier, his driver, his bodyguards. For 14 months, your team builds the web, one connection leading to another, one thread tied to the next. You are not searching for him directly. You are searching for the outline of the absence he leaves behind. You deploy to 3 countries, and every time you are someone new. In Turkey, you are a journalist researching Syrian refugees. You interview aid workers, attend conferences, buy drinks for men who might know things, men who move money for the wrong causes. In Jordan, you become an aid worker. You hand out medicine, visit clinics, ask about a doctor who used to be there, the one who now treats special patients. In Pakistan, you pose as a businessman exploring investment opportunities. You meet local officials, ask about construction projects in remote areas. Who's building? Who's buying? Who's hauling materials into places where nothing should exist? Everywhere you go, you listen. You build relationships. You find people who might know where he is. You never ask directly. You let them speak. You remember everything. The breakthrough comes from SIGINT. 14 months of nothing. Then one intercepted call. A lieutenant mentions an important guest arriving soon. A village in the mountains. A compound that has been quiet for years suddenly shows activity. You are sent in. Your cover is a journalist writing about reconstruction efforts. You carry credentials from a real newspaper. References that check out. A photographer travels with you. She is activity too. She has been in country for 3 years waiting for this moment. For 2 weeks, you live in that village. You eat with locals, drink tea with elders, take notes on agriculture, roads, infrastructure, reconstruction projects you do not care about. You file stories that will never be published, and you watch that compound from a hill half a kilometer away. You watch through an optic disguised as a camera lens. Vehicles arrive after dark and leave before sunrise. SUVs with tinted windows. Never the same vehicle twice. Food deliveries triple on certain days. The guards rotate in patterns you commit to memory. 4-hour shifts. 2 at the gate, 2 on the roof. 1 patrol every 90 minutes. You photograph faces. Grainy images are run through databases at Fort Meade. Most come back blank. Unknown males. But then one hits. Not the target. His brother. The financier who has not been seen in public in 5 years. The one everyone thought was dead. If the brother is there, then he is there too. You relay everything. GPS coordinates accurate to within 1 meter. Timing patterns down to the minute. Guard rotations. Entry points. Weak sections of wall. Vehicle positions. Shift changes. Best approach vectors. Escape routes. Then you are told to leave. Immediately. Do not ask why. You pack. You say goodbye to the village elder. Thank him for his hospitality. Shake his hand. Promise to send him a copy of the article. Then you walk out. A car picks you up. By nightfall, you are across the border. 72 hours later, the news breaks. A military operation killed a senior terrorist leader. No details released. The host nation lodges a formal protest. The State Department issues a formal denial. But you know exactly what happened. You drew the map. You counted the guards. You timed the patrols. Somewhere in Virginia, a star is carved into a wall. Not for you. For the operators who did not make it back. 2 men. You will never know their names, but you made the mission possible. The bombs stop. The IEDs stop. For a while at least. You have been doing this 7 years, maybe 8. You stopped counting. You have been 19 different people in 14 different countries. You speak 5 languages with native accents. You can move through the souks of Marrakesh and the slums of Karachi with the same ease. But who are you now? Your wife is gone. She could not live with a man who disappeared for months, who could never say where he had been, who returned a little different each time, who jumped at loud sounds and could not sleep without the television humming in the background. The divorce was quiet. She kept the house. You kept a studio apartment. You have maybe slept in 30 nights total. Your children know you as the father who misses birthdays, the one always traveling for work, the one who mails gifts from places he cannot mention. Your son is 14 now. You missed 6 of his birthdays. Friends are impossible. Your cover does not allow friends. Every relationship is either operational or dangerous. The people who know the real you can be counted on one hand. Most of them work for the same agency that officially does not exist. The mental damage is worse. You have watched people die, sources you cultivated, people who trusted you, people whose names you handed over to targeters. That courier in the hotel room, the one whose documents were copied, he had children. You saw the photos in his wallet when the team searched the room. 3 kids. The youngest could not have been older than 4. Now you dream in Arabic. Sometimes you wake up and for a few seconds you cannot remember your real name. You have to look at your passport, the real one. There is no medal for this work, no parade, no public recognition. When you retire, there will be no ceremony. When you die, your family will be told you suffered a heart attack at your desk job. So why keep doing it? 3 weeks ago, a bomb did not go off in a shopping mall in Virginia. 200 people went home alive. Mothers, fathers, kids buying sneakers. None of them will ever know your name. None of them will ever know you exist. Most days that is enough of a medal. Then comes the mission that breaks every rule. A nuclear scientist working for a regime that wants the bomb. The kind of bomb that changes history. The politicians want negotiations, deals, sanctions, talks that drag on for years while centrifuges keep spinning. But intelligence says something else. The scientist is not loyal. He is not a true believer. He is trapped by his own government. His family is leverage. His daughter's school is monitored. His wife is followed everywhere. He wants out. Someone high up asks the question, what if we extracted him? Not assassination, extraction. Get the scientist and his family out of a country where failure could trigger an international incident. Maybe even war. No military assets, no official fingerprints. If you get caught, you are a criminal, a kidnapper, a spy. The United States will deny everything. They will deny you exist, because you do not. Team of 4. All activity, all ghosts. The operation takes months. Maps, bribes, false documents, safe houses arranged through cutouts, who have no idea who they are really working for. You make contact through the scientist's daughter's piano teacher. She is Activity 2, has been for 3 years. Embedded and waiting. The message is simple: one chance, one night. Trust us, or spend the rest of your life building weapons for men who will use them. He says yes. The night of the extraction, the power goes out. Not an accident. Sigint made it happen. In the darkness, you move. The scientist, his wife, 2 daughters. The younger one is 7. She thinks this is an adventure. You let her think that. A car takes you to a checkpoint. Forged papers that cost $50,000 buy you passage. A guard accepts a bribe, thinking he is helping smugglers. Then a boat takes you across water you will never name. 8 hours in darkness. The little girl gets seasick. You hold her hair back while she throws up over the side. Then it is safe house to safe house for 2 weeks. Moving every night, sleeping by day. Every passing car might be the one that kills all of you. Then the pickup, an airstrip in the middle of nowhere. A plane with no markings. Handshakes from men who do not introduce themselves. The scientist gets out. He is debriefed for 6 months. He gives everything. Diagrams, names, locations, timelines. The nuclear program is pushed back a decade. No bombs, no war. Millions of lives not erased in a flash of light. The family receives new names, new papers, new lives. A house in a country they have never seen before. The little girl will grow up American. She will never know how close she came. And you go back to your life. Your next cover, your next mission. You never expect to see them again. Years pass. You have lost track of identities, countries, and the stars carved into the wall for operators who never came home. 17 identities, 12 countries, 37 operations, 4 near misses where you absolutely should have died. After a while, you stop counting. The numbers mean nothing. You are in a cafe. Could be anywhere. Europe probably. Maybe America. You are just a man reading a newspaper. Grey hair now. More lines in the face. Still the kind of face no one remembers. 5 minutes later. A young man sits nearby. Fit. Alert. Trying far too hard to seem relaxed. He holds his coffee wrong. His posture is too rigid. He checks his watch too often. Amateur. You know that look. It was once your look, 20 years ago, before the languages, before the covers, before the bodies. He is watching someone, learning the craft. Probably agency, maybe military intelligence. Fresh out of the farm, convinced he knows something, convinced he is invisible. He isn't. You spotted him in 3 seconds. You could teach him everything. How to hold a cup so it shields your face. How to use window reflections instead of turning your head. How to sync movement with traffic lights. How to disappear in a crowd of 3 people. How to become so boring, so grey, so forgettable that nobody remembers you were ever there. But you won't, because he does not know you exist. And he never will. That is the rule. It has always been the rule. The truth is, ghosts do not get retirement parties. No gold watch, no ceremony, no pension you can explain to the IRS. One day the tap simply stops coming. Maybe now you teach, maybe you train the next generation of invisible people in a facility that does not appear on any map, a building with no sign, students with no names, a curriculum that officially does not exist. Maybe you consult, a contractor with no past, hired for skills that cannot be explained on a resume, paid through companies that only exist on paper. Maybe you disappear one final time into a life that is actually yours. A quiet house, a garden, a dog, ordinary things. But some part of you never leaves the shadows, always listening, always watching, noticing the car that passes twice, the man who lingers too long, the pattern that doesn't belong. Old habits never really die, they just go dormant. Waiting, because you know the truth. The world is kept safe by people who do not exist, by agencies that officially never happened, by men and women who gave up everything for a country that will never publicly acknowledge them. No parades, no monuments, no thank you, only a star on a wall, no name underneath. You were one of them, that kid in the cafe. Maybe he'll make it, maybe he'll wash out, maybe he'll die in a country that will never know he was there. Maybe one day he'll become one of the stars on that wall. Or maybe he'll become what you became, A ghost, a shadow, a person who only exists in classified files sealed for 75 years. By the time anyone opens them, everyone who knew him will be dead. That is the bargain. It has always been the bargain. You finish your coffee. You fold your newspaper. You leave exact change on the table. Outside, the sun is bright. People move past you. Couples holding hands. Children on their way to school. Businessmen checking their phones. None of them know. None of them ever will. That is the point. You step into the sunlight. Just another man. Just another face. Forgettable. Invisible. Gone. And you disappear one last time.